I'm going to do this for the next 15-20 minutes. Life means nothing in Nigeria. This last broadcast, before I go, I just want to say that life in Nigeria means nothing. Our lives, southern lives, mean nothing. I want to read to you something before I finally go, because I think we need to be very, very clear about exactly what this government is doing. And I want to read something to you on top of what Bangudu did. Stealing 5 billion for Abacha, and then trying to make and then this government trying to pay $110 million to Bangudu. On top of that, one thing I want to read to you is this: the EU is now trying to restrict the movement of Nigerians, so-called Nigerians, in the EU. Let me read it to you. So we'll be facing visa restrictions. Those of us who are trying to come here, or those who are here, Nigerians who are here, who have got visa. So it says here, if European Union is planning to soon tighten procedures for getting Schengen visa for the nationals of Nigeria, as the latter is failing to play its part in return and readmission of its nationals staying illegally in Europe. So you can see the pretense now. They're saying that Nigeria is failing in its duty of actually repatriating Nigerians to make sure they live on time. So that's what they're saying. But we also know that based on following what the US did, the US have now made it difficult for Nigerians to go into US. So they are not going to tell us that straight out. They are not going to tell us straight out that, oh, the restrictions is also to do with the fact that terrorism is going rife in Nigeria. They won't say that. But they're saying, because already our government, we know our government, they don't take care of the people. They don't care for our people. So, in fact, by the way, let me just point out one more thing, in case people are not aware. The UK are taking out, our government have signed, Nigerian government, they signed a law, an agreement with the UK. So, if they arrest people who are illegally overstayed, they are doing a rendition flight. That flight, it leaves London, goes to Abuja nightly. This is happening nightly in the UK. Now, I know the EU, but as we all know now, the EU and UK are separate. But this is the EU now saying they're going to have restrictions on Nigerian visa, because they say that people are overstaying their welcome and everything else. Firstly, can you blame Nigeria with the amount of Nigerians, citizens, with the amount of killings going on? We can't blame them, even if it were to be happening. I can't blame them. How many people are dying every day? The government is doing nothing to make the lives of the people secure and safe. We are in a war zone. So that's one side of it. The other side of it that we need to think about is this. Of the people living in Nigeria, what percentage are from the south? Just want to put that question. Of the people that are leaving Nigeria, trying to come to Europe or to US, or what percentage? I think you will find that the overwhelming percentage come from the south. So this government will not care. This government will not care. They will not care. No, but what they want is, in fact, they want us to leave so that they can put more Fulani and take the land. So I just wanted to put that there for us to understand that this government, they will not care about any restrictions from anybody. Because you see, if they want their own people, here's what somebody told me a story one time. The government can write a letter. The federal government, in fact, it happened with Buhari. All they need is a letter written by a government official with an outside name, whatever. That letter, they can use it to get on a plane. They can use it to get a hotel. They can use it to get studies. They can use it to get anything, anywhere in the world. Because they are from the north. Just a letter. Just a letter. But if you are from the south, you will never get such a letter. Never. Never on this earth will you get such a letter. So they don't, once they see that letter, all doors open. Any hotel, they will know, because they know they gain the money. Anywhere, any student that they get a letter like that, they know it's money. Whatever that letter written by a government official with a seal and everything else, the doors will open. But the likes of you and me, who are trying to make our way because our government has blocked our way, please don't expect that letter. So we need to be very clear when they're talking about, so this idea, okay, we'll do now. Thank you very much. So we have to be very, very clear. People are beginning, the EU will not come out and say they are worried about terrorism, but they will use an excuse. It's what I'm trying to tell you. They will use an excuse and say, right, we are saying the people don't want to stay. They are now worried. People are coming back. Of those people coming back, how many of them can become terrorists? These are the things, you know, these are the things that is, you know, somebody said they want us to leave. That's why they close the airport during Christmas. They do everything to back to our land. Exactly. So look, so I just wanted to put this out there on top of everything else going on. On top of everything else going on. Now, those 5 kids now in Chagamu killed because they were peacefully protesting against the death of Tiamiyu Kazim, the footballer. The footballer that was killed by a SARS officer by being pushed under a moving car. 5 of them have been shot now. 5 of the kids who are peacefully protesting on the streets have been shot. So we know that our lives don't mean anything. Our lives mean nothing. It's important we understand that. Our lives mean zero. Zero to these people. I wanted to, we have to be very clear. So when we are informed on that, and then we now need to understand, to make sure that we are aware that collectively, when we stand together, these guys, they are finished and they know it. That's why they are telling us to pray in the mosque. Some of us to go and pray in the mosque. Some of us to go and pray in the church. Because they're trying to keep us divided, so we never stand together. So we never stand together, because they know that when we stand together, they are going to fall. This is what is going on. But I don't want us to just leave this as a talking shop. Right now, that contraption has failed. We need to be very honest with ourselves. I'm sorry, I've got close friends, I've got people who I know who still believe in Project Nigeria, but I don't. I don't. You cannot tell me to believe in Project Nigeria when the same government are telling me that they are going to accept Boko Haram back into the army. You can't tell me that. Because when you accept them back into the army, that means that you are putting your people in harm's way. So we cannot have, look, you can't. You cannot tell me about that you have one Nigeria, and then you are going to tell me the condition of that one Nigeria was that you must accept Boko Haram. That's nonsense. Because what you are doing is you are telling me, yes, you can have one Nigeria, but you're going to kill me in my land. So what I'm saying is we need a peaceful pathway. We need a political pathway to dissolution of that contraption. And let's all put our heads together in the South. We need a political pathway. A political pathway. That pathway would make use of the current political democratic powers that we have now. And that is why going via the governors and ensuring that we, the people, must put pressure on the governors to make sure that this Amotekun stays. Because without security, I'm sorry, you haven't got a country. Without security, you haven't got a country. You had now in Ore, 10 were killed today by my caller that called in Ore. And it was confirmed by others on the same broadcast. You had this afternoon, 5 kids, five youths were killed in Chagamu for protesting against the death, the killing, evening my sister, the killing of Tiamiyu Kazim. May his soul rest in peace. Everywhere you go, in Delta State, people are afraid to go to the farm because they are being killed. Fulani men are taking the land. So how can you, in the face of that, tell me what does one Nigeria mean? I'm sorry, explain that. What does this one Nigeria that you speak of? So I just want to see, when we're talking about this, it's important we understand. We need a political pathway. We need a political pathway to a peaceful dissolution of that contraption. That is the best way forward. That means that we use the current political system, the democratic system that is in place now, because the contraption has failed. The government of the day has failed in its primary responsibility, which is to protect the lives and the properties of the citizens in that contraption. They have failed categorically in every way, shape, or form. So let's not flog a dead horse. I don't want to waste my energy flogging a dead horse. And I want us all to now look at exactly, because this is not Igiko Odashegbo, they say in Yoruba, a tree does not make a forest. Let me bring in Iwodo quick before I go to talk some more, but we need positive actions ourselves. We need our people to start, like you said, getting engaged with the elected representatives, your House of Reps, your senators, your councillors, your governors, all of them. Until we begin to hold them to account, nothing will change. And we need to now make it clear that, look, we want to go our own way, but peacefully. You know, we don't want them to, we can't have this anymore. We can't trust them. You cannot trust a government that is telling you they're going to be accepting apologies from Boko Haram and then recruiting them into the army and into the society, only for them to kill more again. So it won't.